Is this eye drop or is this Julie? We'll find out soon as he continues to rotate on through. 24 builds now. The pressure is getting on.
Yeah, almost waited to that legendary banana. That run is gone, but nice flank onto one. That's hard find and his duo. iDrops has to be careful not to get stuck in this position, but he finds a little bit of a treasure trove. Another med kit, the flopper that he can use. He has to make it to zone though, or all this is going to be useless. Top 20 position, not even a bunch of placement points being earned just yet for anybody in the lobby, and he gets shut down, and that's a good amount of loot for somebody to just gather up.
Yeah, there was not too many opportunities for him to get a snipe. Everybody was kind of covered up except for one player flying through the air. Hard find. Fall now. Trying to see what they can do, but Fridoxy has to be careful. Too much of a peek led to his shield getting cracked. Good news, they have big pots. They have Flowberry Fizz. They can recuperate what they've lost as Zone continues to pull more north.
Doing a good job of staying ahead of the curve. 116, 5 eliminations. They're just trying so hard to move up the leaderboard. Upper bracket is where their eyes are positioned. And you can see everybody now being forced. Just 3 teams got a far pull. Everybody else on that right side of the map are going to have to rotate together. But it's Trulex and Chicho that have the high ground for now. And it does look like they're just building up to try to solidify it for good.
They want to claim it, and it looks like they might have just done it. DMR in hand. Going to be put to work now with the players rotating through. 26 players up, 15 duos in the 9th zone here. As you can see, Tagenio, be careful. 5 elims on the board. He has lost Noah, but he has that banana pop to recuperate that HP. Gonna be forced to use some minis now in a Flowberry once again for that mobility.
Default Kiriachi just trying to move their way through. The zone is just becoming more and more chaotic with the last games that we played so far. Top 14 position. Placement points have not even begun halfway being completed just yet as Chicho goes down. Trulex is risking it all right here. Good instant splashes to get both of their HP back up, but they still have more rotations to go. The front side of the zone, but it just looks like they're going to go build height first and then try to take it and hold on to it.
So far, so good. Recuperating that shield that they've already lost, as now they can even reconnect to their previous height builds here. Kiriachi, his duo partner, staying ahead here. Actually going to try and chop down height. Can they secure it, though? The battle is going to begin.
Yeah, but I think they already connected on the other side. Great attempt coming out, but not going to be enough. Fridoxy tripping. They just get punished there for a moment, but they use a good job of backtracking in their steps to finish off that elimination before they continue moving forward. Drops down a layer because they're trying to make an easy rotation. Another player right in front. He's going to be a solo, but I don't know if they took notice just yet. Fridoxy is going to start the last med kit that he can. Trippin's just trying to lead the path. He doesn't have a ton of HP left, so he cannot take a tick or even get close to doing so.
Last medkit has been used for Fridoxy as well. Trip now doing something similar as a nice knockdown from Fridoxy. This could be huge in terms of an impact. Materials are going to be recuperated, but not enough to last the rest of this match, as now Kiriachi and Default are going to pick up one more. That's 7 for this duo. Flopper's found as well. Huge heal off potential for this duo.
Yeah, multiple different win conditions. I do believe they're passing around the medallion as well, maybe even dropping it if they don't need it. High ground is now becoming a focus. Kaizen trying to catch in. The banana is going to be popped. He's getting his HP back, but he runs into Fridoxy and Trippin, who pick up their 9th elimination of this game. They're looking for double digits to rise up the leaderboard in the last hour as Debule gets found out. Top 7 situation, and it looks like another elimination being cleaned up as Taze falls as well.
Fridoxy, Trip looking unstoppable as now High Ground is trying to get overthrown, but it's going to be Chicho and Trulex that are holding on strong. Default forced to drop now. Has 5 elims, but he wants to make it 6. Gets full boxed almost, though. You need to run away here with the force splashes. He can tank zone for just a little bit, but with the pressure from above, from below, he has to be careful.
Trulex dropped down on a Fridoxy and Trippin, and not one, but both eliminations. That was huge double elimination, because now that puts him in the prime position. One of the only healthy duos still left alive in a world full of solos.
Chicho, Trulex deciding what's the game plan now. They don't have any medkits. They don't have any floppers. They need to get eliminations here. They're going to pop Flowberry, recuperate that shield, and go down for the elims as DKS picks up 1. But now Trulex looking to close it off.
Yeah, Panzer is just trying to heal off the backside of the zone. It is a 2v1. It's the placements in which he came for Panzer. He was able to scrape together so many placements, staying alive, staggering himself backside of zone. They have 3 eliminations, and now Trulex is going in for the finish. Even with the dash, they just placed him around, canceled the med kit of his own. Trulex and Chicho, after missing Major 1, have rise to the top.
Great way to finish it off. They had no choice other than to look for those eliminations with no med kits, no heals in the inventory, and that is exactly what they did to close off this match. Once again, another duo from High Ground taking home the VR.
Yep, and not surprisingly, Trulex and Chicho, man, they dropped down. They took down one of the only teams in their path in Fridoxy and Tripper, and there goes the first knock. Fridoxy didn't even know where it came from. He went down shortly after, and the dash medallion in hand. Trulex used it to get out of such a tight spot and finish the game just like this.
Trulex was really closing it out, elim after elim, just flying around, dashing, hitting those shots. Great way to secure a solid place on the leaderboard, but let's see how much that's changed. There's only 3 people that can let us know. It's Frankie, Levin, and Mini.
Gosh, the pressure of being one of those 3 people, boys. Thank goodness I have you, and thank goodness for Trulex and Chicho as well, Mini Miner. That was such a fantastic display of using height, of mobility, and just the perfect timing at the end there to take that victory royale in the 2v1 situation where, of course, they had the advantage.
Yeah, lots of confidence from this team right there. I think it was Trulex that was reviving Chicho at one moment, and they just had the confidence just to go up onto height. There was a team on the other side that were trying to take it off them and sort of poised to take height. I think they may have had the forecast tower activated, so I think that could definitely give them the advantage there. They could be a little bit more brave and go for that revive, and then just use all of those builds just to crank all the way up. From that point on, it was just standard stuff from these guys up on height. They know exactly how they're going to play it. They know exactly how to happen, and oh dear, that's what happened to Chicho right there, of course. That's the reason for the revive, but as I mentioned, they were able to have that confidence in order to go get the revive, and then of course go up onto height. So nicely done from this team, and nothing we'd be too untoward for.
There was one key difference in this game compared to what we've seen for them this season, Mini. Could you tell what it was?
Could I tell what it was? I don't know.
One massive difference from Chicho and Trulex. No medkits! They didn't have heal off!
True.
Trulex and Chicho this season, every single game we see them, they always have heal off. Trulex always got 3 medkits. They're vibing with the heals. And this was the one game where like they needed it more than any other and they didn't have it. And that's what made it so close in the end there, right? They almost lost that one, but no. Trulex and Chicho are really good this season, right? Like the casters highlighted, they didn't make a major one last season, which was a big shock. They're a team that should be making it. And yet this season they've come through and they've looked like one of the most consistent teams, if not the most consistent team in EU when it comes to top level competition. So good to see them doing well here and getting a win in round 4.
Levin, were you surprised by Fridoxy and Trip and how aggressively they were playing it in those final zones? It was such an impressive masterclass in the low ground.
I mean, I wasn't surprised, but it was very impressive. It definitely took me by storm. A very odd personal anecdote here that I'll share with you guys. I've had the pleasure of being eliminated by many professional Fortnite players in my lifetime, right? And when it comes to the one that felt the most difficult, like the one where I felt like I couldn't even touch them in a fight, Fridoxy was actually that guy. Like he's one of the few players where fighting him, I was like, I can't even touch this guy. I can't get near him. And he showcased that skill and that ability here in this game against much better players than me, I will add. And he's just dominating everyone in this lobby. He had so many names. I think he ended on what, 8 or 9 probably. These guys were on an absolute tear, and that's been a feature of their game, Mini, right? They've been really aggressive this season and trying to show people, look, we're some of the best fighting players in this lobby at any given moment, and it's paying off for them.
Yeah, it is. And last week, even, we saw a massive clutch from Fridoxy. It was a really, really nice game, of course, with that Mythic, with the Medallion, of course, as well. And then it showed that they can do that without, and as a duo, because, of course, Trip did go down in that particular game. It's just consistency for this team. Can they turn these big pop-off moments into consistent placements? They said it themselves last week. It wasn't necessarily the best performance from them. They weren't too happy with it, which is a good sign. You know, it shows that they're not just going to be happy with just a decent average performance. They want to be the best. They have the ability as well. And I think this is a team that we really have to look for when it comes to Grands.
If you look at the top of the standings there, you'll see Chris and Scurvy as well, who we saw earlier today. I don't think we were actually watching their lobby. It just they've still got that Victory Royale to their name. In fact, I don't think we got to witness them get the Victory Royale. We got to witness them coming close instead, and 31 eliminations. So impressive. And as we were saying before we dropped into that past lobby, just this top 10, even the top 20, I feel like it's one of the most consistent we've seen. We're constantly seeing the same duos getting to those final moments, Miniminer.
Yeah, and I think that's somewhat surprising because, of course, there are 250 teams that are taking part today. So, yeah, maybe you could say it's a little bit surprising, but, you know, the names that are up here, there's not too many surprises. Moneymaker and F9, a team right there that I want to highlight here because they needed a big performance today to make it into that low bracket, and, of course, the upper bracket as well, if they can make it there. They're on the hunt for it. I think if they do place, top 3, maybe 11 here, top 5, they could get into the upper bracket just from this 1 week alone, not even making it out of opens last week. So a really nice performance from them so far.
Yeah, if they did that, that would be a bit of a shock, but a pleasant shock, I'm sure, for all the Moneymaker fans out there. I'll be honest, it's not out of the realms of possibility, right? In terms of just their ability, what they've shown from us in some of these games. I think the big thing here that we're seeing, right, when you're talking about the consistency, Frankie, is yeah, there's a lot of those teams that clearly have just found their rhythm so far this season and are starting to look really good here.
You mentioned teams looking really good, finding their rhythm. That means we've got to check in with Pink and Vico. Come on, big Kevin Jacob. I can't wait to watch this one.
That makes 2 of us. Pink and Vico, hot off a first place finish in FNCS Qualifier 1. And if history continues to repeat itself, this team will have the upper bracket spot secured, and who knows, they get that early qualification throughout the upper bracket win in your in format. But they just need to continue to build that momentum here today. With their spot already locked in, they just need the bare minimum, just like a few other teams that we could pick out in this lobby.
Right, and with just about 25 minutes left to queue up for your final matches, you kind of have to, you know, make that decision on which ones you're going to play out. Are you trying to get into that last lobby? Do you kind of want to get into a lobby that's going to play a little bit more aggressive so you can just farm those little placements you need? When it's all about series points, you really just want to get the best placement you possibly can, as many points as possible. As you can see, Pink and Vico are playing it a little safer this time around with only 1 elim on the board, as well as being kind of under the bridge here, close to that river of sticks, so they can just stack up as many dashes as they want, as they still have that water close by.
Star of the show, Atami, is actually Uguay, so if you guys look him up, his name is Atami. Julie is Julie. 2 players that before today I haven't heard too much about. They weren't necessarily on my radar, but they have definitely moved up my list for teams to watch. And if they can remain this consistent throughout the rest of FNCS, not just today, I can see them maybe winning a game if they make it to upper bracket, or staying consistent through the lower bracket and either earning a spot through that or advancing to the upper bracket in the later stages.
They've definitely been making a name for themselves today. And we'll see if they can continue that forwards as we take a quick look at what Ziffy was able to do as well. Another big duo that we've seen time and time again. X-Squeeze Shakeoff. We're looking quite healthy with 500 damage above the threshold. And they are also going to be making use of kind of more of the uncongested side here to make a rotate through with that river of sticks. You can see the zone's a lot more spread out when you're kind of around this Grim Gate area, as everybody has that freedom to use those dashes, so the rotates are not as difficult.
Yeah, this is a team that needs at least a top 150 placing on the leaderboard after the day is over. They missed out on any points through week 1, so it's kind of leaving it all on the line. And with 118 points, they kind of started this game in 126th place, give or take. So they're inside of that bubble. Now they need to maintain a little bit of consistency throughout these next couple games to remain in that bubble.
Uh-oh. Something went wrong here. There was a full duo. Now it's just Julie as a solo. And with no sniper rifle in hand, we're not going to be able to see those headshot snipes yet. As the tick, 56 above, going down quickly. This is going to be quite difficult, especially with the current loadout. Maybe you can get some tags on the players rotating in, but other than that, they're going to need more.
Yeah, you can see him taking notice on the bottom right hand, where There was a momentary focus from a couple of teams and players there on that side. That could have been a cheeky chance to get some shots, but now he's just waiting, and you see him continuously falling down that threshold. He is above by 8, but we both know that's barely anything to start to gain you any confidence at all.
Skater, Rax now being forced to pop some of their shields here. They're going to use the Flowberry just for the mobility, not to actually get shield. It's now 82 above. A lot of duos in this lobby seem to be struggling quite a bit. 8th zone going to be pulling more towards the northwest, causing a lot of the duos here on the east side to have to figure out how they want to make their rotate. And especially if they can do it in a position where they can once again recuperate those dashes. For Nemo, though, 4 below. Not looking too good.
Nah, it's not at all. Like, you can attempt to out-heal it, but at the next zone, when it turns right back on, you're going to start to have to worry about it yet again. Legendary Banana is going to come out. Does have a mini, but it's not going to be enough to out-heal the Storm Surge and get the necessary damage. Nemo's trying to do the same thing. Finally gets the Banana off, so he can take the first tick. He is rising slowly but surely with that HP. Just a couple seconds left before damage will ensue, so he needs to start getting proactive of where he's going to land his own shots for Storm Surge.
Gotta be careful. Shots from the teams above, from the sides. Not having any shield, you get tagged once, and your opponents know that you're low. You become an option. It was actually Julie, though, who was able to pick up 1. 2 solos now. Might go head-to-head. Nemo just 1 shot away, though, from being eliminated with 50 HP. You gotta be careful as he chooses to continue alongside the edge of the zone. Drop to 22. 2 takes away from getting eliminated here.
And you guys thought Storm Surge was over. Well, it's not over just yet. We still need a couple players that do need to go down within these next couple of zones. As soon as it activates, you see Nemo grabbing together what he can, what he earned by getting some of those eliminations. Minis pop, big pot, so he can save the Flowberry Fizz simply for its utility, but it does look like timing isn't going to be on his side, so he's going to choose to pop the Flowberry Fizz a little early, get some rotation. Once he makes it there, that's when he can worry about everything else, Storm Surge and the rest of his shields.
Gotta be careful, though. Without any materials, he's basically playing a 0 build at the moment, using the natural environment to cover himself from his opponents, but it will only last so long as we take a look at Vico and Pink once again, who are looking like one of the more healthy duos in this lobby. Legendary loadout. Flowberry Fizz once again popped. We can see the common theme of mobility in this current meta. As Various now up above, looking to hold on to height.
Yep. It's Firebro and Belry. Just kind of looking down from above. Flowberry Fizz. And honestly, I was about to say, it might be a little bit too soon, especially with zone pulling up, but they could quickly drop down, try to get ahead yet again. So that way it makes it a little bit easier, as Sined's not having that same easy road. Grolls was lost literally seconds ago. He chose to play as a solo, knowing he can't be hero, because that would have cost him his own game.
Chug Splash is getting put to good use. Gonna put him back up to almost full HP and shield. You can see he dipped his toes in the water to get those 3 dashes as well. Even has some bananas they can use to kind of stay in zone a little bit. As the dashes come through, going ahead. Has to be careful, though, as everybody has the same plan in mind. They want to recuperate those dashes. So these are some dangerous waters now. There's some piranhas in them. You have to be careful, as Julie is still clutching it up. This whole late game, basically, every single moving zone as a solo. Now with just bandages left.
Yeah, these are crucial points, because just as easy you could have got down before placement points, wasting 20 minutes in a game like this, but Julie is making this all worthwhile. These solo points are huge, but Pink, he's able to get 2 along with Vico, facing adversity on the other side, but they get another knock on to Shaco's, but Pink goes down. It's all up to Vico by himself, but no worries. He has that legendary banana and a quick edit on the other side, but as soon as he goes for a shot, he gets pressured from the high ground, forced to pause, breathe, reassess the situation before he continues moving forward.
Shots from above, players on his wall. He has to decide what's the game plan here. Good news is with that banana, with those chug splashes, there's a little time to breathe. Can make those decisions. Looks like he's gonna try and maybe get a Flowberry, but no, he chooses to keep the bananas. Sined now left at 25 HP. Actually recuperated the dashes there. Ahead of the zone as well, making sure he can make use of those minis. Vico continuing as a solo. A majority of the duos going down.
You can see him, he's saving the banana to a point like this where he can use it, get the instant HP, but the speed boost as well. But as soon as he does, a player in the team drop down from right above, lands a couple shots, scares him away, sees he's a solo. A nice turnaround shot for Vico, unable to get the elimination, but he got the positioning in which he was fighting for.
9 builds to work with now. All wood has to be careful, especially being second height as the pressure's on him. Vico quickly realizes this, goes down into the water once again. But now the other issue is, if a duo knows, they can just make a quick edit on the floor above him. One quick pump shot with 200 effective HP and shield. Vico should be able to potentially get an elimination here.
And this is big for Pink and